I've met Canadians who reach retirement with $1.8 million in their RRSP. Proud, relieved, and confident that they've done everything right. And honestly, they should be proud. That level of savings takes decades of discipline, sacrifice, and smart investing. But here's the part most people don't realize until it's too late. Once your RRSP crosses that threshold, the rules of retirement completely change. Because what used to be your biggest financial asset slowly becomes your biggest tax liability. Every dollar in that RRSP is fully taxable when it comes out. It's not your 1.8 million, it's shared between you and the CRA. And the more that account grows, the bigger the CRA's share becomes. And that's why I often tell clients the RSP that built your wealth is not the same tool that will protect it. Once you reach this level, the goal shifts. It's no longer about maximizing growth. It's about maximizing control. Because if you don't plan the timing and structure of your withdrawals, that $1.8 million can quietly turn into a six-figure tax bill every single year for the rest of your life. So today, let's talk about what really changes once your RSP hits that level. Why the old defer tax as long as possible strategy stops working, and how to turn that big balance into a smart, efficient income plan that keeps you in control. Hi, I'm Danny Perro, Senior Investment Advisor at CG Wealth Management. If you've built up a large RSP, $1.5 million to $2 million, maybe even more, you've done incredibly well. But you're facing a very difficult challenge. You're no longer trying to build wealth, you're trying to preserve and manage it in the most tax-efficient way possible. And that's where things can get tricky, because once your RSP balance gets that large, the strategies that worked during the accumulation years start working against you in the retirement. You're dealing with forced withdrawals, higher tax brackets, potential OAS clawbacks, and a growing tax estate problem if you don't plan ahead. If you'd like to review your RSP withdrawal strategy and build a controlled drawdown designed for your situation, book a time with me using the link in the description below. Let's break this down step by step. What happens when your RSP grows to 1.8 million? And how to manage it strategically so you keep more of what you've built. If you find this content valuable, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more expert financial content. Let's start with what actually happens when you cross that $1.8 million mark and why the next few years of planning will make or break your tax efficiency. Number one, the RRIF reality. The government's clock starts ticking when you reach the end of the year you turn 71. Your RSP must be converted to a RRIF that year. That's when everything changes. You're no longer in control of how much you withdraw. The CRA decides for you. And the larger your balance, the more you're forced to take out each and every year. Here's what that looks like. Starting at age 72, the minimum withdrawal is 5.28% of your balance. By age 80, it's 6.82%, and by age 90, it's almost 11%. So with $1.8 million, your first year withdrawal alone could be nearly $95,000 as fully taxable income. Add in CPP, OAS, dividends, and maybe non-registered income investment, and you're easily above 120 to 130 in annual taxable income. That means you're now in one of the highest marginal tax brackets. And if you're receiving OAS, you're almost guaranteed to lose some or all of it due to clawback. The CRA isn't punishing you for your success. They're just collecting their share of what's been tax deferred. But now it's your job to make sure the CRA doesn't take more than they have to. Number two, the myth of deferring as long as possible. For decades, Canadians were told, never touch your RSP until you have to. That advice made sense when most people retired with smaller balances and lower income needs. But if you build 1.8 million or more, waiting until 71 to withdraw often is the worst thing you could do. Why? Because your RSP keeps growing, and so does your future tax problem. By the time you reach age 71, that 1.8 million could easily become $2.2 million or more. Now your forced withdrawals are even higher, your tax bracket is even steeper, and your flexibility is gone. That's why the most tax-efficient retirees start planning early withdrawals, often between ages 60 and 70. By pulling smaller amounts each year while you're in a lower tax bracket, you can prepay at lower tax rate and smooth out income for life. It's like leveling the mountain before it becomes an avalanche. Number three, the tax window, 60 to 70. This is a decade where the best planning happens. Between retirement and age 71, your employment income has stopped, but your RSP is still intact, and the CRA isn't forcing withdrawals yet. That's your window to do the following. Make controlled RSP withdrawals at lower tax rates, reinvest some of that money into your TFSA, Delay CPP and old age security to keep tax income low while you draw down. For example, withdrawing $40,000 to $50,000 per year from your RRIFs in your 60s could save you tens of thousands in taxes later. It might feel counterintuitive to create income before you need it, but in retirement planning, timing beats deferral. Because when you control your withdrawals, you control your tax rate. Number 4, the TFSA rebuild strategy. This is one of the most powerful tools and most overlooked opportunities available. Every time you draw down from your RSP or RRIF, take part of that after-tax amount and reinvest it in your tax-free savings account if you haven't already done so. And that's how you slowly move money from a tax-deferred environment where the CRA has a claim into a tax-free one where they don't. And over time, your RSP balance will go down and your TFSA balance goes up, and you build a more flexible tax-free source of income for later in life. For high net worth retirees, this is one of the simplest ways to reduce future tax exposure. And it works best when you start early, not after age 71. Number 5, the OAS clawback problem. Here's something few people calculate before retiring. The old age security clawback begins when your net income exceeds roughly $90,000 per year. For every dollar above that, you lose 15 cents of your OAS benefit. So if your taxable income hits $120,000, you lose the benefit entirely. And if you're withdrawing over $90,000 per year from your RRIF, which is typical for a $1.8 million balance, that clawback is almost guaranteed. And that's why proactive planning is essential. Drawing earlier from your RSP while you're in a lower tax bracket or using your TFSA to supplement income during those high tax years can preserve your OAS and keep your marginal tax rate stable. The CRA doesn't penalize wealth. They penalize poor timing. Number 6, the estate shock. When the CRA becomes your largest beneficiary, here's what surprises many families. When the last surviving spouse passes away, the entire RRIF balance becomes taxable in that year, the final year of death. That means if you leave behind $1.8 million, nearly half of it can disappear to taxes before your children or estate see what's left. It's the largest tax event of your life, and it happens when you're not here to plan for it. By gradually drawing down your RSP, shifting money into TFSAs, or using insurance strategies to offset the future tax, you can dramatically reduce that final tax bill. Because estate planning isn't about who gets what, it's about how much actually gets through. Number 7, the real-world scenario. Let's take a quick look example at Michael and Lisa, both 65 that have 1.8 million combined RSPs. Their financial plan shows they'll spend around $90,000 a year in retirement. If they wait until age 71, their RSPs could grow to 2.3 million. That would mean annual RRIF withdrawals of about $120,000 fully taxable. Their combined income would hit $150,000 each year, causing heavy OAS clawbacks and high taxes. So instead, we create a 10-year drawdown plan, starting at age 62. They withdrew $45,000 per year, paying only a moderate tax rate. They invested part of it into TFSAs and used the rest for spending. By age 71, their RSPs were smaller, their TFSAs were much larger, and their future RRIF income stayed below that OAS clawback threshold. That's the same $1.8 million starting point, but managing the timing, they reduced their lifetime tax bill by over $200,000. Number 8, the big shift from growth to control. Once your RSP crosses 1.8 million, it's time to stop asking, how much can I grow this? And start asking, how can I use this efficiently? Because every dollar of growth inside your RSP is future tax waiting to be paid. That doesn't mean you stop investing. It means you invest differently. Focus on tax coordination, using your RSP, TFSA, and non-registered accounts in balance. Structure your withdrawals to smooth income, avoid clawbacks, and reduce lifetime tax exposure. The goal isn't higher returns, it's higher retention. Because it doesn't matter how well your money grows if you can't keep it. At the end of the day, reaching 1.8 million in your RSPs is an incredible milestone. But it also comes with new complexities, because the same strategies that built your wealth can quietly erode it if you don't adjust course. The key is to shift from accumulation to optimization, managing your withdrawals, timing benefits, and using your low tax years strategically to build a smoother, more efficient retirement. Because peace of mind in retirement isn't about having the biggest number on a statement. It's about knowing what your plan is, how it's structured to keep more of what you've earned. If you'd like to review your RSP withdrawal strategy and see how to turn your savings into lifetime tax control, book a time with me using the link in the description below. The time to act is now, because as you know, money never sleeps.